The Orion Haven space station hung suspended in the darkness of the universe, a solid fortress on the outskirts of the Thetan 9 sector. This region of space was known for its absolute silence, with no signs of life except for the faint dwarf stars scattered like solitary sparks in the void. The crews aboard Orion Haven had grown accustomed to the monotony of the sector long, uneventful days and a silence that bordered on eerie. But everything changed on that day. Elena Ryder, captain of Orion Haven, sat in the central command room. The console in front of her was a maze of lights and sounds, but everything was calm, at least. It was until a faint signal flickered across the radar. It was a small dot, flashing briefly before disappearing. At first, the technicians thought it was just interference from a nearby asteroid or a reflection from outdated equipment. But then the signal returned, this time clearer, carrying a string of unmistakable encryption. Captain Ryder, the technician monitoring the signal, spoke, his voice trembling but trying to maintain composure. "We have an encrypted signal. Its source seems to be from coordinates beyond the recorded star systems." Elena stood up abruptly, her sharp gaze turning toward the large screen displaying the signal's coordinates. It was located on the far edge of the Thetan 9 sector, a region known for strange physical phenomena and a complete absence of planets capable of supporting life. This didn't make sense. Nothing or no one should be there. "Give me the full data," she ordered, her tone firm but tinged with curiosity. The main console quickly displayed the details of the signal. This wasn't random static, it had structure, clear yet complex data, as if created by an advanced intelligence. Preliminary analysis from the station's AI system, Athena, offered an unexpected conclusion. The signal contained non-verbal communication elements, including geometric patterns, sound wave models, and light frequencies invisible to the naked eye. But there was something more striking. It contained a distress-like element, continuously repeating, a rhythm like the beating of a heart. "It seems this signal isn't meant for us," Athena remarked, her warm female voice resonating in the quiet of the control room. "The encoding elements suggest it's intended for a civilization that uses non-verbal communication. However, the strange thing is that this signal is being emitted at a frequency detectable by humans." Elena pondered for a moment. "Why would it be broadcast at our frequency if it's not meant for us? Could it be a coincidence?" Athena paused for a few seconds before responding, "Nothing in the universe is entirely random, Captain. I believe this is a distress signal, and we may be the only ones capable of receiving it in this area." The signal's coordinates were projected onto the large screen, a small dot in the darkness of space, far from any other station or fleet. It was in such an uncharted area that even star maps had not bothered to mark it. Elena felt a strange sensation, a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Can we trace the source of the signal?" she asked. "Not entirely," Athena replied. "But it seems to be coming from an area near the Black Iron Abyss. This region is full of gravitational traps and space anomalies. That might explain why the signal is weak and unstable." Elena turned to her first officer, Chief Engineer Lars Whitaker. "Lars, what's your take on this?" Lars furrowed his brow, his fingers tapping lightly on the console in front of him. "Captain, I don't like this. The signal is coming from a place we shouldn't be going. If it's a trap or something beyond our capabilities, we could lose everything." Elena nodded, understanding Lars's concern. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something important awaited them on the other side. A life form, a civilization, or perhaps answers to questions humanity had never dared ask. "We can't ignore it," she said, her voice resolute. "If this is a cry for help, and we're able to assist, then it's our responsibility, whether this signal was meant for us or not. Athena, enhance the signal analysis. I want all related data ready before we make our next move. In the stillness of the command room, all eyes turned to Elena. Her decision would not only impact the future of the Orion Haven station but could change the course of human history. The signal continued to echo across the screen, like a whisper from the dark, waiting to be decoded. In the conference room of the Orion Haven station, Elena Ryder stood before a large screen displaying data from the mysterious signal. The light from the screen reflected on her face, highlighting her resolute gaze. Around her, the members of the crew council sat in swivel chairs, each wearing a different expression, worried, curious, or skeptical. The debate had quickly become tense. Captain Lars Whitaker, the chief engineer, said, his tone calm but tinged with disagreement. This signal could be anything: a warning, a trap, or even a natural phenomenon we don't yet understand. Risking the lives of the entire crew to respond to it isn't a wise choice. That's right, another voice chimed in. It was Dr. Myra Hall, the station's physicist, known for her practical mindset. The Black Iron Abyss is a dangerous area. The gravitational anomalies there could destroy our ships before we even get close. And even if we survive that, what then? We don't know what we might be facing. It could be an enemy we're not equipped to defeat. Elena listened, her lips pressed together. She understood these concerns, and they were not unfounded. But there was a strong, undeniable belief within her that the signal could not be ignored. This was not just a matter of science or strategy, but a moral one. Listen, Elena began, her voice steady but filled with conviction. We didn't receive the signal by accident. As humans, with all our flaws and limitations, we still have a responsibility to go beyond those boundaries. If there is life out there that needs help, we cannot turn away, no matter how great the risk. The room fell silent for a moment. Elena continued, her gaze sweeping across the faces around her. Remember why we're here, at Orion Haven. Our mission isn't just to protect humanity, but to explore, to seek, and, if necessary, to save life. We've witnessed wonders in the universe, but we've also encountered unimaginable pain. We have to trust in our ability to do what's right, even if that means facing the unknown. But what if this is a trap? Lars countered, his voice firm. What if we send EOS and Sentinel into an ambush? We wouldn't just lose our most powerful ships, we'd put the entire Orion Haven station in danger. Elena turned back to the screen, pointing at the signal data. If this were a trap, why broadcast it on a frequency that only we can detect? If it's an enemy, why not attack directly? I don't believe we're dealing with a force bent on destruction. I think this is a distress signal, and we have a chance to do something meaningful. A different voice spoke up this time, that of Lieutenant Kiran Vega, the head of the tactical team. He was typically a man of few words, but when he spoke, everyone listened. The captain is right, Kiran said slowly. If this is a trap, we can handle it. EOS and Sentinel are the most advanced ships we have, equipped with state-of-the-art weapons and defense systems. But if this is a real cry for help, we can't stand by. I've seen enough horrors when help comes too late. I don't want that to happen again. Myra sighed, clearly still unsure. Even if we agree to take on this mission, what's our plan? How do we get past the Black Iron Abyss without being destroyed by the gravitational anomalies? We need a clear strategy. Agreed, Elena said firmly. We won't rush in blindly. Lars, you'll be responsible for the flight plan. Myra, you'll assist in analyzing the data to optimize our route through the dangerous area. Kieran, I want your team prepared for any scenario, whether it's combat or rescue. Athena will provide AI support to ensure we have backup solutions. She paused, allowing the weight of her decision to sink in. I know some of you disagree with me. But remember, we're not alone in this vast universe. If today, we turn down this call for help, then tomorrow, who will respond when we need it? Finally, Lars nodded, reluctantly but responsibly. All right, Captain. I'll do everything I can to ensure EOS and Sentinel are ready for this mission. Myra also agreed, though her expression remained full of concern. I'll focus on the data. But we have to be extremely careful. Kieran smiled faintly, nodding at Elena. My team has been ready since before you gave the order. We'll make it happen. Elena took a deep breath, feeling the pressure but also a glimmer of hope. Good. We'll begin preparations immediately. This is not just a rescue mission. It's an opportunity to prove that humanity can overcome its own fears to do what's right. As the meeting came to an end, each person left the conference room, carrying their own burdens of responsibility. Elena remained there, staring at the signal on the screen, wondering what awaited them on the other side. But she knew one thing for certain, her decision wasn't just from the heart, but from the belief that humanity could become a beacon of compassion in the vast expanse of the universe. The darkness enveloped as EOS and Sentinel sped through the stars, leaving Orion Haven shrinking into a faint glow in the vast night of space. The antimatter engines emitted a soft blue light, creating a surreal scene in the infinite void. Elena stood on the command deck of EOS, her eyes fixed on the navigation screen displaying a 3D map of the journey ahead. The black iron abyss appeared like a deadly whirlpool, where gravitational anomalies turned space into an unpredictable nightmare. Engines stable. All systems are operational, came the report from Chief Engineer Lars over the comms. Elena nodded, her voice firm but calm. Proceed as planned. Myra, report on the gravitational anomalies ahead. On Sentinel, Lieutenant Kieran Vega led the tactical team. He watched the radar signals intently, his sharp eyes scanning for any signs of danger. No sign of enemy presence, but this area looks more like a gravity minefield than empty space, he said over the comms. Understood, Elena replied. Keep tight formation. If anything unusual happens, report immediately. Both ships ventured deeper into the chaotic region of space. Every movement was a challenge as the gravitational anomalies tugged at the ships, forcing the pilots to react quickly. Myra Hall, aboard EOS, was focused on analyzing the data. On her screen, gravitational fluctuation charts continuously shifted, creating a maze where even the slightest mistake could lead to disaster. Be careful with the coordinates ahead, Myra warned. There's a massive anomaly. It's changing rapidly, it could pull us off course. Elena immediately issued a command, adjust flight angle by 5 degrees. Slow down by 20%. Sentinel, can you keep up? Copy, Captain, Kieran responded. We'll maintain our distance. The journey continued, tense and unrelenting. Each time the ship tilted, Elena felt the weight of her decision pressing on her. The worries about what awaited them lingered in her mind, but she remained steadfast in her belief that they were doing the right thing. On the third day of the journey, the initial signal they had received began to change. It became clearer, more powerful. Myra discovered that the signal was not just a simple distress call, but also contained fragments of information, like a broken story. She decoded a short message, "We, under attack, not much time left. Who else is alive? Elena whispered, sensing the urgency in those words. Then they reached the edge of the black iron abyss. Before them lay a chilling sight, thousands of shipwrecks floating, their cold metal surfaces reflecting light from distant stars. These ships were not human, their designs were completely alien, with curving lines as if carved from light itself. Some fragments were still smoldering, evidence of a battle not long ago. What are we looking at? Kieran exclaimed from Sentinel. Elena stared at the screen, her heart pounding. This was not just a battle. It was a massacre. Report, she ordered. Sensors are detecting signs of high-energy material, Lars said. This could be some sort of destructive weapon, but it's unlike anything we've ever encountered. What about signs of life? Elena asked. Myra hesitated. Yes, but very faint. A few small energy sources, possibly lifeboats or biological pods. But we need to move fast if we want to save anyone. Both ships moved cautiously through the cosmic graveyard, avoiding gravitational anomalies and debris. They spotted a small lifeboat, drifting among the wreckage. Elena ordered the rescue team to board. When the hatch opened, a shocking sight greeted them, 3 alien creatures, emaciated and severely wounded, lying motionless. One of them opened its eyes, a faint but emotionally charged gaze. Elena, Kieran said through the comms, his voice filled with emotion. They really need us. Elena felt a rush of emotion. She knew that all doubts and dangers had been pushed aside. These lives, though not human, still deserved to be saved. She ordered the creatures to be brought aboard EOS, where the medical team quickly began treatment. As the rescue operation continued, the mysterious signal transmitted one last time. This time, it was a short but clear message: "Thank you. They are still coming. Be careful." Who are they? Elena wondered. What enemy had caused this catastrophe? She sensed a larger darkness lurking ahead, but she knew their journey had only just begun. The black iron abyss was no longer a silent expanse. Before the crew of EOS and Sentinel, the massive fleet of the Zenith Forge loomed like an unending storm of metal. Their warships, gleaming with cold silver, resembled predatory beasts from a nightmarish future. The tension in the air was suffocating as both ships entered the enemy's firing range. "We've been spotted," Kieran Vega reported over the comm from Sentinel, his voice tense. "The enemy formation is moving. They're not scouting, they're preparing to attack." On EOS, Elena remained calm, but her gaze was sharp. "Level 1 alert," she ordered. "Raise energy shields to maximum. Myra, establish communication with any survivors in the area. We need to coordinate immediately." Myra quickly typed on the control panel, searching for the right frequency. A weak signal came through from an intact alien warship. "This is Captain Elena Ryder of the EOS patrol ship, Human Alliance. We're here to help. Can you hear us?" A hoarse but determined voice answered. "I am Varric, acting commander of the Kaldharian fleet. We are being overwhelmed. If we can't stop Zenith Forge, no one will survive." Elena replied firmly, "Cooperation is our only option. We bring patrol ships and weapons, but you know your technology better. If we work together, we have a chance." Varric was silent for a few seconds before agreeing. "I'm sending over our tactical data now. But know this, Zenith Forge never stops. They have one goal: to eradicate all life forms they deem imperfect." As Varric's data transferred, Myra quickly analyzed it. "We're facing at least 3 layers of warships," she explained. The first layer is automated warships, fast, powerful, and programmed to destroy. The second layer consists of battlefield command ships, responsible for coordinating the formation. The third layer is the mothership, the hub of all their operations. The mothership, Elena said, her eyes lighting up. If we destroy the mothership, we could disrupt their entire formation. The cost will be high, Kieran warned. We'll need to breach a thick defensive perimeter to reach it. There was no time to hesitate. Elena ordered, gather our forces. Sentinel will spearhead, taking out the automated warships. EOS will provide long-range energy fire and protect any surviving Kaldharian ships. Myra, track the position of the mothership. When we have a chance, we strike. Despite their severe damage, the Kaldharian ships engaged. They operated on biological technology, with hulls resembling living organisms, capable of self-repair. Varric and his warriors were unwavering, even though their formation had been devastated. The battle erupted with fury. Laser beams and plasma projectiles ripped through space. Sentinel charged into Zenith Forge's formation, obliterating the automated warships with precise shots from its compressed energy cannons. On EOS, Elena monitored the tactical screen, constantly issuing orders to maintain tight formation. A Kaldharian ship was destroyed, erupting in a violent explosion. We're losing people. Kieran shouted over the comms. Hold the formation, Elena responded. We can't fall back. Suddenly, Myra screamed, I've found the mothership. It's moving toward the edge of the battlefield, almost like it's trying to avoid the fighting. Elena seized the opportunity. All units, focus fire on the command ships. We need a clear path to the mothership. At the same time, Varric ordered the remaining Kaldharian ships to deploy their gravity traps, their unique technology. These traps slowed and restricted the enemy's mobility, giving EOS and Sentinel an edge. I need a suicide squad to clear the way, Elena said over the COMM. Kieran, are you ready? Always ready, Kieran replied, his voice unwavering. Sentinel accelerated, charging directly into the enemy formation, creating a gap large enough for EOS to advance. Elena spotted the mothership, a colossal mass of metal, its red lights flickering like the heartbeat of a mechanical monster. Myra, concentrate all firepower on the center of the mothership. Lars, prepare the armor-piercing missiles. The mothership retaliated, unleashing destructive energy beams. EOS shook violently, but Elena remained unfazed. Launch missiles, she shouted. The missiles from EOS launched, piercing the thick armor of the mothership. A massive explosion erupted, lighting up the entire battlefield. The Zenith Forge warship suddenly halted, as if losing control. The mothership has been destroyed, Myra reported, her voice filled with emotion. We did it. Elena exhaled in relief, but the joy was short-lived. Assess the damage, she ordered. And contact Sentinel. We need to know their status. As the smoke cleared, the battlefield fell silent. But Elena knew this was just the beginning. Zenith Forge would not give up easily, and there were still many questions without answers. Yet, in this moment, she knew that humanity and Kaldharian had accomplished the impossible, fighting for life, against all odds. Sentinel surged forward like an arrow shot from the light, carrying with it the unwavering resolve of its crew. Kieran Vega, captain of the Sentinel, understood that this path had only one end. He looked up at the tactical screen, clearly seeing the flagship of Zenith Forge, a massive structure emitting red, blood-like beams that pierced through the darkness. It wasn't just a ship, it was the heart of the entire Zenith Forge fleet, their command center. "Kieran, you don't have to do this." Elena's voice rang out through the comm system, full of emotion. "We'll find another way." "There's no other way, Elena," Kieran replied, his voice calm but resolute. "If Sentinel doesn't clear the path, we'll all be wiped out. Protect the survivors. That's your mission." Elena gripped the edge of her command chair, the weight of helplessness pressing down on her. But she knew he was right. Zenith Forge's flagship was coordinating the other warships, forming a fiery net that would prevent anyone from escaping the battlefield. If they didn't destroy it, this would all end here. "Kieran," Elena said, her voice catching in her throat. "We will never forget you." Kieran smiled faintly, though his eyes remained sharp. "Don't waste time remembering me. Survive. That's all I want." Sentinel accelerated, its engines blazing brightly as it cut through waves of fire from the automated warships. Laser beams and plasma shots rained down relentlessly, but Sentinel pressed forward, undeterred. The crew knew they were on a suicide mission, but no one showed fear. They were ready to sacrifice themselves to save the others. "Divert all energy to the forward shields," Kieran ordered. "And prepare to activate the energy core when I give the signal. We only have one shot." Nearby, on Eos, Elena and her crew couldn't take their eyes off the screen. Sentinel was clearing the way by destroying each warship in its path, opening a route for the remaining Kaldharian ships. But Zenith Forge wasn't giving up easily. Their flagship began focusing all its firepower on Sentinel. "Sentinel is taking heavy hits," Myra screamed. "They won't last much longer." Elena felt as though her heart was being squeezed. "We have to do something," she shouted, but the response was silence. Sentinel was too far away, and no one could get close enough to help. In that final moment, Kieran took a deep breath, his eyes still burning bright. "Activate the energy core," he ordered. "Send Sentinel straight into the heart of the enemy ship." Now a massive energy bomb, Sentinel barreled toward Zenith Forge's flagship. A blinding explosion lit up the entire battlefield, tearing the enemy ship to pieces. The automated warships of Zenith Forge ceased functioning immediately, as if they had lost their soul. The Kaldharian fleet and Eos were given a chance at survival. But there was no time for mourning. Elena stood up from her chair, her eyes burning with determination. "This is our only chance," she said. "All units, attack. Push Zenith Forge back, now." Eos and the Kaldharian fleet rallied their remaining forces, attacking as though fueled by Sentinel's sacrifice. Zenith Forge's warships were destroyed one by one. Despite their loss of tactical coordination, they fought wildly, as if driven by a final, brutal instinct. Elena led the charge, guiding Eos through the enemy formation, protecting the heavily damaged Kaldharian ships. Varric, the commander of Kaldharian, did not falter either, ordering his ships to focus on wiping out the remaining Zenith Forge warships. "I didn't think we could do this," Varric admitted over the comms. "But you humans, you fight with a spirit I've never seen before." "That's how we survive," Elena replied, her voice cold yet proud. "And today, we survive together." Finally, Zenith Forge was forced to retreat. Their remaining warships disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind a battlefield filled with debris and the sparkling light of distant stars. The victory was theirs, but the cost had been steep. As the battlefield fell silent, Elena sat still in the command room, the feeling of loss overwhelming her. Sentinel was gone. Kieran was gone. But they had done the impossible, saved those who remained, preserving the faint light of life in the vast universe. And Elena swore their sacrifice would not be in vain. They had left a legacy, that humanity, no matter the darkness it faces, will always fight for life. As Eos returned to the Orion Haven space station, the cockpit was filled with a heavy silence. The crew's gaze was fixed on the display screen, where the endless darkness of space gave way to the familiar shape of the station. They had returned, but the price of victory had been immense. Sentinel was no longer there, and the loss of their close comrades lingered like an unhealed wound. Elena stepped down from the command chair, a weight bearing down on her shoulders. But there was no time to wallow in grief. A new signal had come in from the Kaldharian fleet, the very allies that Sentinel had sacrificed to save. The signal carried the voice of Varric, the commander they had once suspected to be an enemy, but who had ultimately become their most important ally. Elena Ryder, Varric's voice was warm but full of emotion. "We are alive because of you. There are no words to express our gratitude." Elena sat at the control panel, looking at the screen where Varric's image appeared. She noticed the deep respect and gratitude in his eyes, something she hadn't expected from a species they had never encountered before. "There's no need to thank us, Varric," Elena replied, her voice calm but firm. "It was what we had to do, not just for you, but for ourselves. If we had abandoned you, we would have lost what makes us human." Varric was silent for a moment, as if taking in every word she had said. Then he turned and motioned for his crew to bring forth a small, compact object that gleamed with mystery. "This is our legacy," he said. "An ancient piece of knowledge, passed down through generations of Kaldharian. We wish to give it to you, as a thank you and as a beginning for the connection between our species." Elena was taken aback when she saw the object. It was a crystal, containing images and data humanity had never known, information about the universe, lost civilizations, and secrets of space and time itself. It was not just a gift, it was a treasure trove of knowledge that humanity could spend millennia trying to uncover. "We can't accept this," Elena said, a feeling of guilt rising within her. "The lives of your people are enough for us to know our actions were not in vain." "But we want you to accept it," Varric insisted. "This is how we express our gratitude, and we believe you will use it not only to protect yourselves but to protect those who cannot do so for themselves." Elena fell silent, feeling the weight of his words. Then she nodded, accepting the crystal from Varric's hands. "Thank you," she said. "We will keep it as a reminder that life is the most precious thing in this universe." After the signal from the Kaldharian fleet was cut off, the crew of Eos returned to their daily tasks. But the atmosphere aboard the ship and at Orion Haven had changed. They were no longer just explorers, soldiers, or scientists. They had become emissaries, a species that knew how to place compassion above all differences. In the weeks that followed, Orion Haven received more signals from the Kaldharian fleet, each one a thank you and a sharing of their culture. The two species began exchanging knowledge, from scientific concepts to art and philosophy. A new partnership was formed, not based on power or coercion, but on trust and mutual respect. In a meeting with the Human Interplanetary Council, Elena shared the story of Sentinel and the sacrifice of its crew. She emphasized that victory wasn't just about survival, it was about building bridges between civilizations, breaking the isolation of each species in the universe. "We may not be the strongest species," Elena said in her speech, "but we have a strength that no enemy can defeat, the ability to empathize, share, and sacrifice for something greater than ourselves." Her speech was met with enthusiastic applause, and from that moment, the Council decided to expand communication programs with alien species. Orion Haven became a symbol of intergalactic cooperation, a place not only for research but also for fostering peace between worlds. Each night, Elena stood before the large window on the station, gazing out at the star-filled sky. She thought of the comrades who had sacrificed so much, of Kieran and the Sentinel crew. But she also felt a deep sense of hope that their sacrifice had not been in vain. They had paved a new path, a path humanity could walk, not in solitude, but hand in hand with other species in the vast expanse of the universe.